table on stage with an empty chair. We've had it there all week to respect the soldiers who went missing in action and those taken as prisoners of war. I would like to ask everyone to stand and join me in a moment of silence to honor these individuals one final time this week. Thank you. Now, everybody, we hope you were able to get a glimpse of what all of these young men have been doing this week. They've been learning by doing and becoming leaders along the way. In fact, we have 7 state officials ready to take the oath of office and officially begin their terms. At this time, I'd like to call all of our state officers and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to the stage. He will officially swear in our state leaders. You may come to the stage now.
Please stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. Thomas Block, Chief Justice. Your name. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as according to the best of my ability and understanding. So help me God. Congratulations.
Well, hello, everybody. Following a lot of cheering and wheeze, I have to present news of something probably on the mood swing. So here we go. My fellow citizens, I've done a lot over the past week, making sure our cities, parishes, and state can thrive. We feel confident that we have created a government that benefits all, but there's more to leading than just policies. I'm afraid to tell you that our great state is preparing for a natural disaster. I would like to address the impending crisis that our state faces with Hurricane Ada. My fellow statesmen, 2 days ago, the citizens of Boise State were first informed of the ensuing threat that is currently advancing towards our southern coastline. Hurricane Ada has been deemed a Cat 3 and is not slowing down. Little does the hurricane know, he's heading towards Louisiana. As the state heathens say, it takes a lot of water to wash away New Orleans. We are here, we are ready, we are the storm. Each parish demands different needs, but in unity, we will conquer every issue. We will now get into the procedure that we will follow. Evacuations. Mississippi, we will evacuate LaSalle and Lafourche in case of a need of emergency medical attention. Additionally, those in Mississippi are encouraged to travel north to Ouachita and west Texas to avoid the harshest path of the storm. HF, we will evacuate all flood-threatened areas from Caddo, Cameron, and even across the Mississippi border. Kane will allow refugee areas to implement it in the schools, universities, and other accountable housing areas, since Kane and Pearl are kind of out of the way. Pearl will house refugee citizens from the south and state parks, cabins, campgrounds, etc. It will also allow local schools to be temporary shelters. Boga, we're kind of in the way. Though Boga is directly in line with Ada's trajectory, protocol is not disheveled. Catahoula will fly out priority medical patients to Feliciana from all surrounding areas as meets the criteria that follows: critical condition, elderly, hospice. Criminals will be marshaled through a secured and financial priority. All other migrations will lead north to the housing in Pearl and Kane. Those needing medical attention will travel to either Lafourche and Urgent or Cameron if they Highways and major populated areas will be converted to contraflow hours before the storm. Defined as diverting both directions of highway traffic, north, east, and west, away from the storm. Thank you, Kane. Our parts will be sent eastward and west. Orange Beach, 100 miles south of the Texas coastline. Our ships will be sent so that in clusters out in the ocean, so they will not be attacked or make contact with the storm. We'll immediately shut down nuclear to avoid any hazardous outcome. You can use your imagination. This will be implemented in both Franklin and Catalina. All industry, oil and gas, at risk of spills or mass destruction will be temporarily shut down. This includes fracking unless said fracking poses no threat. Following sufficient evacuation and the assistance of military C-130s to increase efficiency, the airport will shut down, leaving no aircraft exposed to the storm. Now we move on to clean up. We will prioritize the major assets needed to get Louisiana back up and running. We will recruit the Army Corps of Engineers to ensure efficient, safe, and fast recovery. Nuclear will be immediately restored following the storm. You can use your imagination on how it would be bad otherwise. We will prioritize airport cleanup and maximize the income of supplies and refuel opportunity. We will next prioritize roads so the transport is made possible and accessible to gather and send necessities to needed. We will then secure and bring back up industry, oil and gas, prisons, etc. SWEPCO will send in out-of-state engineers and linemen to get power back on, as priority number 2 follows getting nuclear back on. The Red Cross will come in and take care of the medical issues and anything regarding healthcare. Officers will be deployed to carry out basic necessities such as traffic flow. The National Guard will patrol major cities to ensure that the law is upheld and there is no looting. Citizens, we adore you. The matter is not only what is able to be endured in unity, we call on you to help. Fire up the boats, get out the sandbags, help those who can't help themselves. We call on the Cajun Navy, we call on charity, we call on each and every citizen to do their part in ensuring that no one goes unfed, unhoused, and most of all, unloved. We are Louisiana, we are strong, and we will not be washed away. Unify and overcome. And as the band of Heathens sang, I'll say once more, it takes a lot of water to wash away New Orleans. Thank you. Questions? We'll be receiving questions at this time.
Press members, you can come forward here. Come on, listen on.
Mr. Governor, how do you plan to attack the unemployment issue as the hurricane causes many jobs to be lost?
Yes, well, of course, in a hurricane, it's going to be tough. We're going to lose jobs. We're going to lose a lot. But the best way to recover is basically, obviously, to do it, right? So we need to all bounce back, create jobs, open up things that, especially in places that have been destroyed, we're going to prioritize the rebuilding of infrastructure and the rebuilding of factories and all these things that we need to repair so we can get jobs back up. And we're also going to make sure that the airports are back up so we can get in flights and supplies and workers and all these things, and also get the roads up too so that we can get people to where they need to work. Next.
Will you have any plans in place in case the schools aren't enough to house all citizens? For example, any hotel partnerships that could house citizens at a discount?
Yeah, so we've talked to Pearl. All of the presidents have met up together. Pearl and Kane have a lot of national parks, forestry, and just a standard procedure. You can you basically open up those cabins and those houses and all that housing to refugees and evacuees who have don't have housing. So in the instance where we run out of school shelters and convention centers and all these things, that we can open up cabins and all these national parks. So that's the fallback.
If the hurricane makes roads and railways impassable, how will you, what are your plans to physically give food and water to the people that did not evacuate immediately after the hurricane?
Right, so you're talking about people who are isolated, obviously, right? So in an instance of isolation, there's a lot of protocol that is followed. Number one, we're bringing in the Army Corps of Engineers to clear out roads. We're going to prioritize that for sure, right after nuclear. And we're going to make sure that we can get the supplies to people. But people who are isolated by flooding or fallen trees and stuff like that, in the worst case scenario, you can always drop supply packages. So, I mean, we have a lot of possibilities to get food and supplies to people. And you can do that by air and by a lot of different methods.
So going off of that, with one of two major airports potentially going down, how do you plan on getting federal resources to the impacted areas?
Right, so, I mean, we can, the federal, so what's going on is we have the airport might be down, we're gonna have to prioritize cleanup, so we're gonna, obviously have to probably receive a grant. It's a tough time and you need to have money to get things done, right? So, at that time, we'll be receiving money from the federal government to clean out the airport, get that done, and eventually, hopefully, that can get paid back.
Mr. Governor, I know you mentioned in your speech that you'd be opening nuclear power first and then working to get the oil refineries up. And I was just wondering, are you going to prioritize pushing greener energy forward or prioritize keeping the oil refineries up?
Well, so our state is largely dependent on the oil and gas industry. And so a massive shift to green energy, while that could be revolutionary, is also a very harmful thing if you do it way too quick. So obviously that'd be a very slow process that we'd have to endure. But at the same time, right now we're in a disaster, and our focus is to get up what we have. So especially the industries, our main industries, what basically boom our economy right now, oil and gas, that is what we need to prioritize.
Mr. Governor, how will you provide shelter for people who are homeless and people who will soon become homeless?
Right, so we've opened up schools, we opened up universities, convention centers, everything. But once again, the parish presidents have met and decided what we will do and follow protocol. We will also make sure that there's safety precaution. We will have security and all these things and make sure that we can get food out for all these people. Cool.
If houses do get destroyed, how do you plan to change building codes to prevent further destruction in the future?
Right, so I mean, obviously priority number one is to rebuild and repair. And then priority number two is bringing engineers to study, make research, and figure out how we better structure these buildings and our infrastructure to make sure we can withstand a hurricane. Louisiana gets a lot of these, so this is definitely not a first. So, we're just using this as to work and to add to our repertoire so that we can use it to modify our infrastructure.
How do you ensure that the needs of individuals with disabilities are met during the hurricane response?
Needs of individual disabilities, right? So we're prioritizing the flyouts. So basically, we have around a 2-day warning, right? So we're prioritizing flyouts from Catahoula to Feliciana. There's airport connections. So basically, all the surrounding areas can travel by car if they can. That's why we're opening the double lanes on the highways. And so we're going to prioritize people who have major medical setbacks. We're going to fly them out first and make the priority number one.
What are you prioritizing bring back first? The oil refinery near the coast or the railroads which transport products?
Right, so you can't transport oil without the railroads, but at the same time, you also need to produce to have it ready to go. So obviously, I mean, we can do that simultaneously. And so we're going to make sure that we can get both because they're basically symbiotic.
Mr. Governor, with insurance companies already leaving the state, do you fear that the hurricane aid could cause an irreversible insurance crisis?
I don't believe at that time. I believe we are stable, and we are obviously working to better the insurance policy, our situation. A disaster is not fun, and it's not fun for anybody, and we're working to the best of the ability that we can. And that is not a threat that we're facing this time now. So, is that all the questions that we have? Yes. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Everybody give them a round of applause, guys. It's admirable to see such a young man come so prepared and get thrown 10 questions he could never come his way. So one more time, give it up, everybody. There's a reason that we call this convocation the awards convocation and not the hurricane convocation. It is supposed to be fun. We just had to address some business before. So we're here together one last time with our family, with our friends and supporters to celebrate the legacy that these young men have left on each other, the guys to the left, to the right, and to celebrate the impacts that they will almost certainly have when they leave this program. We have a plethora of awards that we're soon to get to. Before we get to that though, fellas, I think it's important that we recognize who makes this possible. All week long, we thanked and we appreciated the American Legion, but now we have the opportunity to thank and to appreciate the parents, the visitors, the cousins, the aunts, uncles, the sisters, everybody. So give them a round of applause. In fact, parents, we just came from lunch. I know y'all couldn't be there with us. Lunch wasn't too bad. It really wasn't. We had, was it chicken and rice? We had squash, zucchini, really good dessert. And the best one you had, did you get the plate of yams? Did you have the yams? You had it. Did you get yams? Pearl, did y'all get yams in the back? Okay. Parents didn't get yams, so why don't we stand up? Everybody stand up, face the back to the side, and let's serve them up a real hot plate of yams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I was sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. We took care of the hurricane. Thank God. We shouted out the people who absolutely deserve the shout out. So let's get down to business. I mean, it's the awards convocation. Time to hand out some awards. We're going to start with academic awards. Parents, that's the things that y'all went to in the first half of today. You got the legislative, you got city governments, you also got courts and press. Shout out press, right? Yeah, shout out press. So right now, I'd like to ask Ms. Tina Salaka to come up. She's the Vice Commander of the Louisiana Department of Nuclear Collegian, also our biggest supporter. Shout out Ms. Tina, come on. She's going to give us some awards. Fellas, if your name is called, you can come up to the stage. If you wouldn't mind, enter this way. You'll get your certificate. Stand next to this beautiful woman right here and smile as big as you can right there at SAJ. You can grab it and just walk off the same way and then shout at you people as you get them. Are y'all ready? Let's go. SC LeGrand's going to kick things off for us.
All right, gentlemen, the time has come. From the top, the most outstanding parish president from Pearl Parish, Mr. Tim Stanley. Our most outstanding parish council member from Atchafalaya, Mr. Dylan Underwood. For our most outstanding sheriff, from Bogopalaya, Mr. Trey Higgins III. He's got the boots on, y'all. He's got the boots on. And last, for parish government, this is the big one, fellas. Most outstanding parish government, Kane Parish. Your parish president can come up to receive. I'll now ask SC Bryant to come down to deliver legislative awards. Yeah, baby. All right. This week, our citizens passed a plethora of bills, and so they're award-winning for sure. So let's jump right in.
Most Outstanding Senator from the Fats Domino Legislature, London Frey. All right, now Most Outstanding Representative from the Mahalia-Jackson Legislature, Mr. Dylan Underwood. And now for the Most Outstanding House Leadership Member. From the Tucson House, the Speaker, Marcus Moses. Now for the Most Outstanding Senate Leadership Member. From the Fats Domino Senate, the President, Abram Ford. It is now my distinct honor for the City Gov Awards to introduce SC Alex.
Hello, I am Senior Counselor Alex Schindler, a Senior Counselor of City Government. The Most Outstanding Mayor's Office Award goes to the City of Cameron. Will the mayor please come up? For Most Outstanding City Council, could the City Council President please come up to receive the award? Most Outstanding City Council goes to Feliciana. And finally, would the mayor of this city please come up to receive this award? The Most Outstanding City Government Award goes to LaFouche. And now it is my pleasure to pass the mic on to Senior Councilor Stepp.
I have the distinct honor of announcing those who participate in school board this week as they address some tough issues of an unfortunate budget deficit and issues that could be implemented statewide. The citizens did well. You'd be proud of them, parents. So without further ado, the Most Outstanding Bessie member, Lawson Lillo. The Most Outstanding School Board Superintendent goes to Chance McComsky. Your Most Outstanding School Board Member, Mr. Zachary Armstrong. finally, the most outstanding school board. Will the superintendent of this school board come up? Mississippi. And now, for those who were tasked with upholding the law of the land, I turn it over to SC Yancey to hand our courts awards.
So this week, everybody, our courts academic handled two important cases. One of Mr. Jonathan Spencer, who was charged with aggravated arson. You know, I heard some of you saying aggravated assault this morning. No biggie, almost no difference, guys. And then our Supreme Court case tried a case that involved issues of privacy, as well as cruel and unusual punishment. So that was quite interesting. We've got about 5 awards here, so let's go down the list. First off, our most outstanding judge from Atchafalaya, Mr. Andrew Angel. Our most outstanding attorney from Mississippi, Mr. Elgin Brown. You look comfortable. You look comfortable. Our most outstanding public defender, maybe and also from Mississippi, Mr. Carter Hanberry. Our most outstanding appellant lawyer from Kane, Mr. Logan O'Callahan. And lastly, for courts, our most outstanding Supreme Court Justice from Pearl, Mr. Thomas Block. You're a smart man. Bring that robe. I will now hand it off to SC Cheatwood for press.
2 claps, all right. Appreciate it. So visitors, you may have seen out in the lobby, there was a divider that had copies of the Daily Magnolia. That is the citizen-ran newspaper that they write, edit, publish, post, push, and everything in between every single day. It's 10 young men who, unlike the rest, actually apply to the position. They don't run for the position. I sorted through 30-something applications and I chose these guys. And then when they accepted, they forfeit the opportunity to run for state office. So everyone comes here, they want to be governor, and these guys say, you know what, I'd rather step back, I'd rather be unbiased, objective, dig deep, and go find some good stories. And we did find some good stories. We also found some ridiculous stories, and we found some hilarious stories, and that's what makes a good newspaper. So my list is actually pretty short. There's only 10 of us. It's just the most outstanding press member. This year we added a few positions and a few different approaches. You know, old school is you print a newspaper and you read it. That still feels nice, but in the 21st century, a lot of people look at things on their phone, look at things online, look at things in Discord or Snapchat group messages. So we put a real emphasis on pushing things out on our digital platforms, and that is why the most outstanding press award goes to Mr. Evan Rourke. So we've kind of highlighted some individuals in the academics, but there are things that we work on outside of academics that, you know, obviously Kane and their school, they take a lot of city pride, right? Yeah, right. We know Pearl, HAB does the, what's y'all's chant? The yeah, right? Everyone has their own little thing, and that's because they take city and parish prides. So the next session of awards is highlighting the most outstanding people and parishes. All week long, you may have noticed on those other dividers, well, they're pillow feeds, but city banners is what we call them. And we give them one night. We say, get in there, get a rubric, go figure it out, make a mascot, make a theme, have at it. One stood out among all others. It was the absolute best. So the most outstanding city banner goes to Washington. Somebody get it. Get the award. Now, what we weren't able to show you this morning, but potentially you saw us live stream it, is our parish song. It's something we take pretty serious here at Labs. It's something sentimental. They work on it. They model the song, and then they change the verses and the emotions to mirror their experience here at Louisiana Boys State. You know, you'd be surprised that every single one of us, I know all the SCs and probably all the citizens, you don't think you will, but you will never forget your city song, or your parish song, excuse me. I still remember mine. Mine wasn't very good, but I remember it. This one, however, was outstanding last night. Great performances from all 5 parishes, but without a doubt, Pearl's was the best. The next award kind of is just, you got to feel it, right? You can judge song, you can judge a city banner, but you really can't judge spirit. You just got to be there and you got to feel it. And honestly, over the years, it's become something as the most coveted group award that we've given out. This was a hard one. Me and the SCs really mulled it over, and it was tough because one day they had a lot of spirit. The next day they had a lot of spirit. The next day they both had spirit. It was hard. We mulled it over. We figured it out. The most spirited parish, 2023, Louisiana Boys State, Kane Parish. Just like parish, right? People take pride in their city. Each parish has 2 cities, and sometimes you may be pitted against each other. So, of course, we always want to highlight the most outstanding parish, but there's always one city, single city that stands out to us as well. The most outstanding city, 2023 Louisiana Boys State, Concordia. This final group award kind of takes all of it and puts it in one package. You take spirit, you take awards, you take collections, you take banners, you take songs, you do all that, and you figure out, honestly, what was the best parish. Okay, it's hard. If you guys would have heard in the morning, They basically chanted for a Labs flag, and they went crazy for it. We don't have it today, but we do have the certificate. The most outstanding overall parish, the cream of the crop here at Boise State. Yeah, give me a drum roll. Bogafalaya.
We're now going to move into the most outstanding citizens in the city and parish. For the city of Caddo, Mr. Thomas Nizzo. For the city of Cameron, Mr. Marcus Moses. The most outstanding citizen of the Chaffalot Parish is Mr. Andrew Angio. For the city of Catahoula, Mr. John Abram Earl. For the city of Concordia, Mr. Jack Johnson. The most outstanding citizen for the parish of Bogafly, Mr. Henry Miller. All right. For the city of Feliciana, Mr. Lawson Lillo. For the city of Franklin, Mr. Braylon Broussard. Most outstanding citizen for the parish of Kane, Mr. Abram Borg. For the city of Lafourche, Mr. Sean Balthazar. For the city of LaSalle, Mr. Carter Hanberry. The most outstanding citizen from Mississippi Parish, Mr. Joshua Blake. Most outstanding citizen for the city of Orleans, Mr. Blake Langerno. For the city of Washita, Mr. Ben Henry. And last but not least, the most outstanding citizen for Pearl Parish, Mr. Beard himself, Mr. Tanner Stack.
Round of applause for our city and parish winners. The Samsung American Legion Scholarship was endowed by the Samsung Corporation in 1996 through the American Legion to benefit the direct descendants of U.S. veterans as a gesture of appreciation to those who aided in defending South Korea from North Korean and Chinese aggression. Each boys state from across the country selects a finalist from its participants, and then those finalists move to the national level competition. Please join me in congratulating this year's Samsung American Legion Scholarship recipient, Mr. Caleb Lee.
So to give you a little background of these next awards that we are giving out, the first Boys Nation, then called Boys Forum of National Government, convened at American University in Washington in August of 1946. 3 years later, it became the American Legion Boys Nation. 2 representatives from each of the 49 boys states come together as senators representing their respective states. Boys Nation delegates get a week full of government training, visits to federal agencies, and the opportunity to meet their elected officials. Louisiana has selected 2 delegates to attend Boys Nation and 2 alternates as well. So we'll first begin with our 2 alternates. Second alternate, from Catahoula, John Abram Earl. Our first alternate, from Cameron, Mr. Marcus Moses. We will now go to our 2 delegates that have been selected to represent Louisiana. From LaSalle, Joshua Blake. And then from Franklin, Braylon Broussard.
Now, we're going to pivot here for a moment to the A.R. Chopin Award. An award named after the longest serving Boys State Director, A.R. Chopin, who served for 32 years. This next award is given to the citizen who most excellently exhibits the same level of tenacity and dedication to the ideals of Boys State as the former director. Simply put, the A.R. Chopin Outstanding Citizen Award is the most prestigious award and honor one can receive here at Louisiana Boys State. This year's recipient did not take a single moment off and impressed counselors and other citizens in every academic he participated in. He managed his parish with poise and and constantly encouraged his fellow citizens with his infectious attitude. He has not only made his city and parish stronger, but the program as a whole. This citizen truly embodies the ideals of Louisiana Boys State. It is our honor to present this year's A.R. Chopin Outstanding Citizen Award to Mr. Joshua Blake. Now, to close this year's session of the American Legion Louisiana Boys State Program, please help me welcome to the podium once again the 2023 Louisiana Boys State Governor, Mr. Jack Johnson. Boys, look to your left. Now look to your right. We didn't know each other at the beginning of the week, and some of us still maybe not know each other now, but we got to know each other very well through trial and error and all kinds of things and just wild experiences. So with that, some good things must come to an end. To close this year's session of the American Legion Louisiana Boys State Program, please help me. Oh, that was for me. It is with a great honor that I, Jack Johnson, Governor of the 2023 Louisiana Boys State, declare this session of the American Legion Louisiana Boys State closed. With the closing of this Louisiana Boys State session, we will allow 10 minutes for the citizens to say goodbye to your fellow citizens, after which we will dismiss you by parish. So you may now take the time to say goodbye to your fellow citizens. Parents, we ask that you please remain here.